Hi everyone and welcome to week 1 in Prep Skills. My name is Bree and along with Trixie this term, I'm your unit coordinators, or we're your unit coordinators. So you've got both of us today. I will be doing this lecture and Trix will be on the chat answering any questions. So feel free, if you want to comment, pop them in the chat there, or if you'd like, we're more than happy for you to open up your mic as well. So a very big welcome. Just a couple of things at the top. So this unit's called Preparation Skills for University, but we also, for short, call it Prep Skills or sometimes PSU. So you might get a few different versions. And we'll be looking today at Module 1, which is really all about preparing for university. Now, first off at the top, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today and pay my respects to elders past and present. Now, we've just discovered in the chat that we are from all over today, so we have lots and lots of lands to acknowledge. But today I'm in Gladstone, and Gladstone is the land of the Gurang, the Gurangarang, the Baili, and the Terrabalang Bunda peoples. We're a bit lucky in Gladstone. We have a lot of different groups because we're divided by quite a few rivers. So we're an interesting little place here by the water. And as you probably have figured out from the comments in our chat today, STEPS and Prep Skills students are everywhere. We are all around Australia. So we have obviously on-campus classes in lots of different places throughout Queensland, but we also have so many online students joining us from all over. We were just saying there's some people from WA, from Tassie, from New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia, all through Queensland. Don't think we've come across anyone from the Northern Territory yet, but if you're out there, pop it in the chat. Okay. So each week we will have a lecture just like this one. It won't always be me doing the lecture. You'll get to see lots of different faces, lots of different lecturers along the way. But what we do in these lectures, if you haven't come along to a lecture before, is we like to sort of break them down into parts so you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. It also helps to take notes and be able to sort of follow along. So this week in Module 1, I've broken it down into 3 parts, A, B, and C. So part A, I'm going to be chatting about really what this unit or subject is, why we're all here, a bit of an introduction. Part B, I'll be talking more about STEPS and probably CQU more broadly, getting across the systems and processes. And finally, in part C, we're going to discuss yourselves a little bit more and talk about preparing to be a university student. So that's the format for this week. So it might help if you've got a notepad there and a pen, or it might be on your iPad, whatever it is, to sort of note down these parts, and that'll help you take notes throughout. So let's start at the very beginning. Part A, Intro to Prep Skills. So you might already know this from having your STEPS meeting with your access coordinator, that Prep Skills is the core unit. So everybody does it in STEPS. It's usually the first one everyone does. And you might be wondering why. Why, Bree? Why do I have to do this? Why is it a core unit? So Prep Skills is a core unit because it hopefully provides you with the skills, strategies, and knowledge to be able to succeed in STEPS. But not only STEPS, also in your undergraduate studies, so after STEPS. So it's a core unit because that's the point. We really want to give you an introduction, prepare you, take the time for you to understand not just university, but also yourself and how you can be the very best student you can be. So that's why it's the core unit. It's really the introduction to all things university and CQU. So we really like to think of Prep Skills a little bit as a foundation. So, you know, every good building, if you wish for it to stay upright, needs to have a nice solid foundation. And that's our aim of the game with Prep Skills. We want to build you a solid foundation, hopefully like this one pictured, of skills and knowledge about university. So you can take that and continue with it throughout your journey. a lot of you might be sitting there thinking, am I in the right place? Is this for me? I've even noticed a few people on the introduction forum going, oh, I'm a little nervous, oh, I'm just not sure. And this is really, really common. It's called imposter syndrome. And it often happens when you go into a new place, whether that's a new study environment, a new job, a new hobby. But you might at first feel a little bit like a fraud, like this cute little cat in the back there, sneaking in there. So you might feel like you don't necessarily belong and that, you know, maybe you're a bit out of place. So another little example, I love this one, is we've really got a cat theme today, is the little cat pretending to be a bunny there. So you might feel like you're sort of pretending at first, like you're pretending to fit in with the rest of the bunnies. And really in prep skills, our aim is to help you feel less like that. So less like an alien and more like a university student, and feel much more at home in your uni environment. And honestly, I think from my experience of teaching this unit and being in steps that we do generally achieve that. I just actually bumped into 2 students this morning who did steps with me or did prep skills with me previously, and they're both going into their undergrad degrees, their first week today. And they were both telling me how on top of it they felt, because they felt like they were ahead of the game. They knew what Moodle was. They knew how to get onto everything. They knew the process, the procedures. They knew how to study. So they felt a lot less like the rabbit, like an actual rabbit rather than the pretend cat one. So hopefully you'll feel the same way. Obviously on day 1, it might not feel like that yet, but that's the aim at the end. So every unit or subject you do at university will have some learning outcomes. So there'll be a list of things that at the end of the term, you hopefully have developed. So in prep skills, all of these are outlined on Moodle and in the unit profile, which I'll talk about in a sec, but just here to go through them. We hope that you develop strong study habits, effective learning strategies, and become a confident and self-directed learner. Hopefully, you're able to set some goals for your individual study or career path, and those goals might change throughout the term. You might reconsider them, adjust them, and that's okay. But hopefully we can get some nice goals, clear, consistent goals in there. We hope that you'll be able to apply some critical thinking skills in lots of different contexts and be able to focus on critical self-reflection, which you'll learn a lot about. That might be a new word, critical self-reflection, or a new term for you, but don't worry, we'll talk about it quite a bit. Number 4, we hope that you can find and evaluate relevant scholarly research. That's super important at university. You need to be able to find information, and then you need to be able to use it in your assignments. We want you to be able to negotiate all of our systems and procedures, because let's be honest, they can be a bit confusing. If you haven't been at university before, it's a bit confusing sometimes, all these systems. What's a Moodle? Where's a CQU? My CQU? You know, there's lots of things to figure out. So hopefully you'll be more confident in that area by the end of this term. And also develop communication skills that are appropriate for higher education. Okay, so I'm going to talk next a little bit more about some important things you're going to need. But are there any questions, anything in the chat, Tricks, I need to address? No, we're all good.
Sorry, I've got to find that unmute button. No, no. But just let the students know to throw things in there to keep me busy.
Yeah. Yes, if you have anything, just pop it in. Tricks will answer it there. There is a bit to get through. I forgot to say at the top, sorry. In week 1, this is quite a full lecture and quite a full Q&A often. After this week, we do try to keep them a little more condensed, and we might have a bit more time in between, you know, feedback and you to talk and contribute. But I'm sorry, I'll apologise now. Week 1, it's just jam-packed. We have a lot. So, a few things at the top, important things, what you'll need. So a lot of you might be all over this already, but if not, just make sure you have a copy of the Prep Skills study guide. You can find that if you go to the Moodle page and click on the unit introduction tile. There's information about that. You can download it. You can get print copies. You hopefully would have had that information from your Access Coordinator, but if not, hop on in there, have a look, download a copy of that. You will need it. You'll also need copies of, all the normal things like a workbook, somewhere to write. You'll need a copy of the unit profile. I'll show you where that lives in a second. I think I've got it on a slide coming up. The steps guide for students is another really helpful one. It's got lots of information about processes, procedures, step-by-step instructions. That's also in the unit introduction tile on Moodle. And obviously you'll need access to Moodle. Now, I think if you've all made it to this lecture, you're probably all over that, but it is important to be able to access our online learning platform. So make sure, have an explore. You can't break anything, so just click around. That's what it's all about this week, is getting used to it. So to give you a little bit more info on Moodle, or what a Moodle is, I know it seems like a very silly name, but it's just the name of the learning platform. It's really where all of our online and support and study guide activities live, so where everything lives. So you'll have access there, obviously, to our virtual classes like this one, just hopefully how you made your way here. There's also videos and other resources. There's discussion forums. So if you haven't already, feel free to jump on to the introductions or the week 1 forum. There's a study groups forum. All of those are on Moodle. So you can have a chat to some of your fellow students, might be able to make a study group together. We also keep an eye on those, so we reply or answer any questions as well. Also, all your information about assessments and weekly work's all on there. So like I said, have an explore, be brave. You can't break it. No one has yet, so surely it'll be fine. You'll also be able to access all our contact details on there. So if you go up to that information button right up the top and drop it down, there'll be unit contacts. Open that up and all of our contact details will be there. That's also the place you can access the unit profile. Now, unit profiles are really important. They have all the information you need about assessments, about the structure. We're going to go through a lot of that today as well in this lecture, but it's nice to have a copy of the unit profile and have it written out there so you know what you're doing for the term. With your unit contacts, obviously, as I mentioned at the top, myself and Trix are the unit coordinators this term, but lots of other people are also in prep skills, so you'll get to meet lots of other lecturers. If you're an on-campus student, you'll be meeting your on-campus lecturer tomorrow in class. If you're an online student, you will be assigned what we call a support lecturer. So that's a lecturer that's given a group of online students to look after. So that'll be a little bit later in the week. We're just getting those groups organised and students all get enrolled, and you'll hear from your support lecturer. They'll send you an email, introduce themselves. Okay, anything important in the chat, Trix, or anything? No, we're all good.
There's a few things going on in here. I'm sadly responding to them, but I'm making a list and we can come back to it later because I think you cover a lot of this anyway.
Yeah, yep. So I will get to a lot of things, but at the end we'll circle back to anything we missed.
There is one question I think is really pertinent just to the moment. Someone's asking where the lecture recordings are posted because this person could only attend today. Oh,
yes. Yeah, I will show Moodle at the very end.
Okay.
But each week you can go into the module, and after this, obviously, this will be recorded, and then it'll be uploaded to Moodle so for this week, it'll be the week 1 tile, but I might show everyone that at the end. It's a bit easier to watch than me to vaguely explain.
Thank you.
Oh, good. Okay, so you might be thinking, great, but what am I actually doing, Brie? What do I do each week? What are my tasks? So ideally, my advice is to read through the module. So each week, read through the module in the study guide, whether you've got a hard copy study guide or you've downloaded it and are reading it off your computer, whatever works for you. read that, and then go through and do the corresponding activities. So you don't need to hand these activities in each week. They're not assessed. They're just for your own learning and to help you with the assessments. So work through the module. So read through the study guide module, do the activities. Some of the activities you'll need to hop onto Moodle. There might be links, there might be videos, there might be things like that. But that's sort of the best way to approach it. So you know exactly what you're doing and then do the little activities each time. As I said, in your unit profile, sorry, there'll also be a weekly schedule, which will look something like this. So we're right up the top here at the very beginning at week 1, and this is all about preparing for university. And as you can see, there are 12 modules, and that goes along with the 12 weeks of the term. And there's lots of different things in there. We'll be looking next week at active learning strategies, then in week 3 at learning styles and personality types, and we go on from there. So this will all be listed in your unit profile, but that's just a bit of an outline of what we'll be covering all the way through until we finish up at the very end in week 12 when we look back and look forward. So classes, you've already got a big tick because 88 of you I can see there have made it this far. So you're in the lecture, so well done. We have our lecture every week on a Monday, 10 a.m. till 11. We also allow another hour for questions, so from 11 till 12. Now, we won't necessarily need all that time every week. So this week we usually do. Usually there's lots of questions because it's week 1. But potentially in the coming weeks, we might not always use that whole 11 till 12 hour. So you might get a little bit of an early mark, which would be nice, especially for those of you who are doing EWU, because you'll be heading on over to another lecture. So yes, the main part though, the main lecture will be from 10 to 11 and it's recorded. We also have 2 other classes in 2 different formats. So we have our internal tutorial. So if you're studying on a campus somewhere, you can come along on a Tuesday from 11 to 1. And those are our face-to-face on-campus classes. We then have our online workshop or Q&A for all of our online students on a Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now that's Queensland time, just a heads up everybody. So they're a bit of an opportunity to come along, connect with some other online students. We'll do some activities, but also there'll be some Q&A options. Each week it's a different lecturer too, so you'll get to meet a few different people along the way. Okay, so one of the probably most common questions we get in week 1 is the what about assessments? What are these assessments you speak of? So your assessments can be found on Moodle. You can have a look in the unit profile. It lists the assessments and on the assessment tile on Moodle. So if you click on the assessment tile, looks like this. It's called assessment, pretty straightforward. You will come up with a list of assessments. So you can see there, Learning Portfolio A, Quiz 1, Learning Portfolio B, and Quiz 2. And they break down just like this. So 4 assessments, your very, very first assessment is your Learning Portfolio A, worth 30%, and it covers Module 1, so the one we're doing right now, to Module 3. That'll be due at the end of week 4. Then we have a quiz. So the quiz is about 40 questions and based on Modules 4 and 5, all about active reading, listening, research. It's worth 20%, come along at the end of week 6. We have another Learning Portfolio near the end of term in week 11. That's Learning Portfolio B. That's our biggest assessment. So it's really important. It's also the only assessment where you have a minimum grade. So you have to pass Learning Portfolio B to pass prep skills overall. Obviously, ideally, you want to pass most of the assessments, as many of the assessments as you can, but Learning Portfolio B is a bit special because you must pass it. You have to pass prep skills. It's really similar to Learning Portfolio A in its structure. So by the time you get there, you'll be all over it. And it's based on modules 6 to 10. And last but not least, and this one has a tricky due date. So just remember, quiz 2, our final quiz, is due at the start of week 13. So that's the week after your last classes. And it's a smaller quiz, 20 questions. But yeah, it's a bit of a tricksy one because it's at the start of the week, whereas everything else is due at the end. So just note that in your calendar. Okay, any assessment questions? I will talk about Learning Portfolio A more at the end too, so everyone knows. You can see Trixie typing away there on chat, so she's got it covered, I reckon.
Oh, we're just having a giggle because I think you said it's a bit of a tricksy one, not a tricky one.
Oh, did I? Yeah.
I just thought that was funny.
It's not Trixie's fault. It's just tricky. Sorry, Trix. That's so funny. But yes, it is. Well, I guess it's tricksy in that it's tricking you a little bit. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Start of week 13, and I don't know. We've got to keep you on your toes by the end of the term. All right. As I said, I will go through Learning Portfolio A more at the end, so don't worry, you'll be all over that. The next question that many students ask is it hard? Is it going to be hard? And usually it's with that terrified face, that very uncertain face. So many students worry that they're not going to be able to succeed. And I can assure you that you certainly can. It's common to feel that way, but it's okay. A really common saying, the harder you practice, the luckier you get. So honestly, if you put in the work to prep skills, if you come along to the lectures, if you do the weekly work, if you put the effort into your assignments and you put in that commitment, there is absolutely no reason why you can't succeed. So you will be just fine, I promise. It's all about putting in the work. We're not trying to trick you. We're not trying to make it harder than it needs to be. Honestly, we try and give you all the information we possibly can to make it as straightforward as possible. So as long as you commit to it, I promise it isn't going to be too bad. It'll be fine. You'll be just fine. So the other important thing there, obviously, if you do find you're struggling or if you're unsure about anything, that's what we're all here for. So reach out and ask us. We're always here to help. Okay, so I'm about to move on to part B, which is a bit more of an overview of steps and CQU. Anything I need to answer in the chat first, Trix?
So there's been a couple of questions. One was in relation to the study guide, just about do they need the digital version or the hard copy version? So I've just noted that in there that, look, they can use either the digital hard copy. Of course, if you have a hard copy, you can write on it, you can take it everywhere with you. But nowadays, everyone has laptops and iPads and you can be reading a digital version. The key is make sure you read your study guide. You know, it's not just there to look pretty, but everything that you need's in the study guide. So that was one question. The next one was just the Emily just asked about the tutor because she's seen the word tutor. That's been a tricky one because we call ourselves lecturers or support lecturers, but you will see it the term tutor as well. It's a little bit different to what you're used to at school, as in you get paid to have a tutor to help you learn. We're lecturers, and so we actually support you in this journey, but this is your journey. So you will see the term lecturer. And that's the main things, really.
Wonderful. Yes, it is a bit confusing, all these new terms. And sometimes some people use tutor and lecturer sort of interchangeably. So yeah, it can get a little bit confusing. And as Trix said, the study guide, as long as you, honestly, most important thing is you read it. So whatever way you're going to read it is the way you should do it.
And Bree, the other thing is the editions. So we're currently up to 10, aren't we?
10, correct.
So if you have edition 9 is still fine. There's only a slight few changes, but you might just find your page numbers are a little bit out. Not
That's
much.
The worst part about 9, is the page numbers. Most of the no major things you'll be missing. So if you already have a 9, that's fine. Don't go
that's it
and getting another one. Or if you've inherited an edition 9, it'll be fine. You just keep an eye on those page numbers. Okay, so on to part B. As I said right at the top, module 1 is all about helping you find your way around. get used to all of the places where everything lives, get yourself a bit acquainted with all of our systems here. So we have a really wonderful video on the Moodle site, thanks to a past student named Bex, who did this video introducing you to my CQU and also to the STEPS course site and Moodle. So just so you know, these videos were done a little while ago, so it might look a little bit different. Everything is still more or less the same. It's just that some of the websites had a bit of a facelift and look a bit fancier, but all of the stuff will still be, you know, click up the top and the right, or, you know, you've got this information down the side on the left. So same, but yeah, maybe just looks, your version might look a bit fancier and a bit of work done. So I'd check out that activity. It's activity 1-1 on Moodle, and you can watch those videos. Thank you, Bex. And, oh, yeah, my mouse is just having a bit of a moment, everyone. Sorry. Hopefully that stays with us. And once you've watched those videos, you can then go on and download activity 1-1. And it is like a checklist, more or less. And it looks a bit like this. And it's just a tick and flick. You can go through, have a go at opening all the websites, getting into my CQU, accessing everything. And as you go, you can tick those and you can make sure that you can access everything. If you can't, this gives you an opportunity now in week 1, before, you know, we've got important assessments due and it's stressful, to make sure everything works properly. If you have any issues, let us know. We also have a wonderful IT department that can help you with anything, any login problems or funny little bugs. So have a go at that this week. Make sure you can find all the information, get around all of the CQU sites. Okay. So part B is a pretty quick one because most of it you're going to get to do yourself. So hop on, have an explore, get yourself all around and acquainted. So if you've got a pen and paper there or an iPad or whatever you're making notes on, note that down. This week is all about making sure you can access everything, you can get everywhere, you can find all the things you need to find. Now, part C, sorry, Trix, did you have a comment? No, okay.
I'm getting myself ready.
You ready? Okay. Part C, preparing to be a university student. So this is a bit more about the broader issues of uni and why you're here, why it's important, what's going on. So it's good as an adult learner to be able to know your direction, what you want, because this is your choice to be here and your choice to continue in STEPS and to achieve whatever goals you're planning to achieve. So in the chat, pop in what you want from university. What is it that you're wanting to achieve here? Trix will read some of those out. I don't know if anyone can see this, but if I put my mouse there, can you all see what my mouse is doing?
Yes.
Yeah, it is losing it.
It is. It's all over the place.
I don't know if the batteries are dying. Anyway, sorry, everyone. I just had to share that oddity with you
all. Okay, so what's some of these goals? Oh, Zach, I want to get perfect marks and everything. Good luck with that, mate.
What a perfectionist.
Even the smartest person, I don't think would ever get perfect grades at university. So don't get your hopes up too high. We'll talk to that later, actually. What have we got? To show my kids that I can challenge myself. I love that. Didn't finish high school due to health problems. So, yep, having to do this. Paramedics. Oh, another paramedics, nursing, engineering. Oh, internationally recognized degree. I like that. You can travel anywhere. That's what I love about degrees. Oh, interesting. Signed up so she can help her 11-year-old or his 11-year-old. I missed it. Went past way too quickly on me. Oh, like this one, Lou, the first in my family to go to university. I don't know how many of you, but if you, how many of you are first in family?
I'm first in my family too.
Yep, me too. So, yeah, it's great. Want a pay rise, a promotion at work? Yeah. Oh my goodness, it's flying. So many degrees: psychology, business, a rewarding career. Yes.
I didn't mean to click that.
Yes, show myself I can get a degree after 30 years. Yep, sonography. Wowzers, paramedics. Yeah, first in family. So there's a few there. Finley, I want debt. Well, the good thing is, okay, you will have debt, but you will be paying it off because you'll be in a higher paid profession. That's the positive. Damien, to
Oh,
prove I'm not stupid, definitely you're going to find that that's going to be proven when you do this. There's another one. Yeah, first and
sorry.
family, primary degree, nursing degree. Yeah, so there's plenty going on with that chat.
Okay. My mouse has just had a real fit. Give me a second, everyone. Sorry. I've got to reshare because it started just clicking things at random against my will. So sorry, everyone. Of course, we have technical issues on day one.
There's always technical issues, isn't there? Criminology and psychology, what a great combination there. There's so much like, and this term you're actually going to be, look, I keep losing the chat.
Sorry.
You do actually look at the various careers that's available at the end of the term, so you might find there's some careers there that you hadn't even thought of that you could do.
Yeah. All right, I'm now using the little mouse pad on my laptop, so hopefully that's a bit more cooperative. Sorry, everyone, for that weird moment. But my next question, so those are wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for sharing all the things you want from uni. I think it's really cool as well, Trix, to see that some people it's a goal, like a career goal, but for some people it is, proving to themselves they can do it, or showing their kids that they can do it, or being able to help others. So those are all good goals. It doesn't necessarily have to be a clear career, although sometimes it is.
Yep, absolutely.
My next question is, have a little bit of a think about your resources. So what are the things that you have that can help you succeed? So they might be physical things like having a laptop or something like that, but also think about people and some personal qualities and skills that might help you along the way, and pop those into the chat for me. The harder question. Give everyone a little moment to think about that. We don't always think of these things. We often think of what we want, but we don't think of the things that are going to help us get there. True.
So Angus says an amazing family, and family support is really valuable. So Heather's also said the same thing. Yana's saying time management skills, which is a resource that that's an interpersonal resource. That's something that you need to develop. So that resource is actually you in yourself. So we've got family so far. It's waiting for more to pop up. Here we go. Financial. So, definitely financial. Friends and family of all different backgrounds, absolutely. So Erin actually has a support group of teachers. Lucky you.
Wow.
So partners, support systems. This is so different teachers. So teachers, yes. Remember, your lecturers are actually a resource for you as well. Oh yes, my desk. Thank you, Beck. Your desk, with Doom pile. Tobias, my wife encouraged me, to go back to school. Funny you say school. But that's good that you've got such a great support person. My will, active mind, friends and family. I love this one. My kids think I'm a superhero for wanting to study. So yes, that will motivate you to continue on as well.
That's excellent. These are some great resources. People have really thought about these. I love it.
Here's one here, Cleopatra. Thank you for sharing this. This is quite personal, but I like this. Most of my family never succeeded with their career, so I witness what happens when you don't invest in your future. What a great point, because that's exactly what this is. This is an investment into your own life.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you, everyone, for sharing. These are excellent resources. And some of these might also help you think outside the box a little bit, because, it might not necessarily be things that you think of straight away. There might be some other interesting things like Cleopatra. Those life experiences might be their own resources. So, good job. Good job. So in Module 1, so in this first week, we do ask you to think a bit about your resources and also what things you already have and what things you might need to work on. So At CQU, we have a list of enabling attributes, we call them. So these are sort of skills and qualities that you might be working towards or some that you already have. But these are often attributes that are really, really important at university. So that's why we have them. That's why we want you to have them by the end of completing steps. So our first one is self-management. So you might want to reflect on and manage your own performance. Number 2 is communication. Number 3 is information literacy, so research skills and being able to find information. IT competence, problem solving, things like critical thinking, which we'll touch on a bit in prep skills throughout the term. An understanding of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures, and cross-cultural competence more broadly. So that's all about learning to respect the opinions of others and learning about culture, other cultures, but also universities have their own culture. So that's what number 7 and 8 are a bit connected there, are all about. And then number 9 is ethical practice and academic integrity, which I'll talk about a bit more when we come to that next couple of slides. But in the chat, do you want to list some of these things you might already have? Maybe you're already great with IT. Maybe you're already a perfect problem solver. What sort of skills do we already have? Maybe you've worked across lots of different cultures and you feel you have a lot of cultural competence and understanding of others. Everyone comes to this as adult learners. We all have such broad backgrounds and different skills. So we can't assume that, you know, we could have worked in lots of different places, done lots of different things, had lots of different, you know, family and friend experiences. So pop them in the chat. What skills have you already got?
And it's great that you asked that question in that way too, Bree, because it's actually looking at what are people's skills, like what are their strengths, you know, and it's really good to identify your strengths. And here we've got people saying time management, critical thinking, self-management and problem solving. So yeah, as a mother, definitely problem solving.
Yeah.
Yeah, good communication, critical thinking, IT skills, yep, ethical practice. Angus says, I think.
I think.
Yeah. I like it. You just, I'll add that at the end just in case, Angus. IT competence, that's really good. Yeah, communication. Now Heather says, well, I'm terrible with IT. So this is actually, it's a good thing because you're aware of that's something that you will work on. Yeah, but critical thinking, ethical practice, that's great.
That was going to be my next question, Heather, actually, is what you'd like to work on. So Heather's is IT. Who else has got some things that they want to improve? Yeah.
1 to 9. Angus just says 1 to 9.
And that's not a bad thing. We can all improve in, you know, a little bit everywhere, but maybe pick one.
There's a few here, like communication, IT, self-management. Yeah. What was this one up here? I was just thinking, where did I see this about? Mystique says, being in school during COVID, I feel I have online learning fairly down pat. And that is true. I mean, that's one of the things about the COVID era is that for people that were studying, they had to learn how to study online. So that's a positive in that respect.
Excellent. I see Lou's here having IT competence and also cross-cultural competence, as well as Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures, being Aboriginal yourself, lovely, but you'd like to work on communication. Excellent. Thanks for sharing, everyone. Yeah, and yeah, a couple of people, talked about self-management, time. I think that's time management's like number 1. It's often the one people want to work on. So,
and actually we find with a lot of our research that we do that it is actual time management that makes you successful. You know, if you don't manage your time, that's what can let you down. So I think it's probably the number 1 skill that you really want to devote the next few weeks to get down pat.
Definitely, and we'll talk about it a bit more as well, especially next week. So we'll touch on that. So You also, as well as having some skills and attributes that we hope that you develop during your time in STEPS, you also have a few responsibilities. So we hope that throughout your time you can be an active student, and we'll talk about this as well next week, actually, being an active learner. But I'm loving, we've got, oh my gosh, we've got 90, it just keeps ticking up the numbers, 90 active learners here. So many of you actively involved in the chat, sharing. So that's being an active student, turning up, contributing. So that's excellent. As Trix and I were just mentioning, managing your time. So that's your responsibility as adult learners. We do need to manage our own time. We need to, come to classes, dedicate time to study. I know obviously not everyone here can come to the classes at the exact times. So some of you might be watching this back as a recording, but that's also an important thing and an important responsibility. Doing any homework, any work that needs to be done, being obviously courteous towards each other. We want a respectful and kind environment here. And observing academic integrity. So do we have any clever cookies out there who might know what academic integrity is? If you do you want to pop it in the chat? It's a bit of an unusual term. You might not have come across it before. But if you have, show off your skills. Oh, a few people. I see a few chats coming up. Look at you all go. Oh, okay. If I'm going too quick. Okay, so not plagiarizing. Yep, ensuring that the work we do is our own. Acting in a way that's honest, fair, respectful, responsible in your studies and academic work. Oh, Lou, look at that. Ability to stand by your own work without stealing others. Oh, okay. We have lots and lots of clever people here. Honesty. Yeah. I love that, Angus, what they said, just above. Using your own words, crediting others, work correctly. Oh, so many, so many. Good job, everyone. Okay, I've got a few examples here from different universities, actually. So CQU, our academic integrity definition says that academic integrity means acting with honesty, trust, fairness, respect, and courage. It's about protecting the quality of student learning, the credibility of your assessment and qualifications. So that's our definition. There's a few others here. There's a couple from Griffith and Western Sydney and Sydney Uni. I quite like the last one from Sydney. Acting with academic integrity means doing the right thing, even when things seem difficult, and taking a shortcut to academic success seems easier. I quite like that one. So yeah, it's broad. It's got lots of different, obviously broad meanings, academic integrity. But really, when it comes down to it, the part of academic integrity that's really important here to us is having an understanding of what plagiarism, collusion, and contract cheating is, and obviously ensuring that you don't do those things. So you can see there I've got some definitions. Plagiarism is copying the work of others without acknowledgement, so taking it and just pretending it's your own, whether that's on purpose or accidentally, either way. Collusion, sharing your work with another student or doing part of an assignment with them. There is a caveat to this, obviously, if you're doing a group project, that's different. In Prep Skills, though, although we encourage you to work together, we don't have any group projects, so everything will be your own work. And contract cheating is getting a third party to complete your assessment. So that might be a person or a technology. So all those things are breaches of academic integrity. So it's really important that we don't breach academic integrity, because there can be obviously consequences to that. And we wouldn't want to, as lecturers, we want to see you succeed. We don't want to see these consequences come down on you. And I think I really like that definition I mentioned from Sydney Uni before about acting with honesty even when it's hard, because sometimes it is hard. Sometimes you might think you're helping a friend by sharing your work, but we've got to think about it, a little more broadly than that, that if you do share your work and somebody copies it from you, you're both considered guilty of collusion because you've both colluded in that work. So just keep that in mind. We're not doing this to be mean or to, you know, be really hard on you, but we want you to understand what these things are and why they're so important at university. And I think by your awesome comments in the chat about your definitions, I think you're all fairly all over it. So good job. I'm impressed.
Hey, Bree,
Yes.
Brett just asked, and I thought I'd share it here. How do you avoid collusion in study groups? And this is where the understanding of what collusion means, you have to have that deeper understanding, because when you're in a study group, you're working alongside others to gain knowledge. Yeah, so you're sharing ideas, you're sharing thoughts. What Bree was saying there is what you have to be careful of is as you're doing assessments, that you're actually not taking the work from somebody else, or you're not sharing your work so someone else could take yours and present it as their own. So study groups is fine. It's just making sure that a line doesn't get crossed. That's all.
Yeah. And you might make a study group and you might, you know, meet in the library or on Zoom or whatever it is. And you might do the weekly activities together in the study guide and discuss them and help each other with that. But then you'll do your assessment on your own. That'll be your own work. So it doesn't hurt to bounce ideas and, you know, learn together, but it's just ensuring that your assessment is yours, like Trix said. Yeah.
And Finley's just asked, and I'd like to clarify this, Finley, how broad is the plagiarism rule? But I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Yeah,
Okay,
maybe a little more info there.
Yeah.
But we will learn more as we go through, everyone, too.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
A bit more about what plagiarism means and how it can be avoided. We have a whole module all about reading, note-taking, referencing, so introducing you to that. So,
and I'll keep responding on the chat to answer people's questions.
Thanks, Trix. Also, if you're interested, the unit profile has some information about academic integrity as well. So it's got some little links here about being honest, seeking help, and producing original work. So have a little bit of a read about that. Okay, so preparing to be a uni student. Ideally, now is the time to get organised. So what do you think might get in the way of your studies? What might get in the way of you being a uni student, of you being prepared? What do we think? In the chat, this might be personal to you, this might be broad. I don't mind. What might get in the way?
A lot of people are saying work.
Yeah.
Many of you work and study at the same time. Family, so yes. Falling behind, that's a big one. You start to fall behind, you've really got to catch yourself up. So we always say try and stay ahead. Health is another one I'm seeing. And health and mental health. Yep. Yeah.
And those are two, sorry, Trix. I was just going to say, those are two, health and mental health, that if that is something that you struggle with or something that you feel might get in the way, please don't hesitate to share that with your lecturer so they know. We also have a wonderful accessibility team here at CQU, so you might want to talk to your access coordinator about that if you would like to sign up to the accessibility plans. Sorry, Trix, you keep going.
No, I was about to keep typing, sorry.
Lots of things in here. Procrastination. Yep. Yeah. Commitments. Yeah. Lots of different commitments. Yeah. Lots of procrastination, social life. Okay. Yeah. So we often see this. And we'll talk about it more throughout prep skills, but we see all these different things come up and we have to manage them. So it'll be different for everyone. Everyone will have different challenges to overcome. But something we can take a little bit of a control at the start is what we call self-sabotage. So self-sabotaging is where we might make things a little bit harder than they need to be for ourselves. So maybe instead of having this lovely, nice, clean desk with some organization, we can't find anything because it's a mess. And don't get me wrong, your desk, this is a pretty perfect example. It doesn't have to look like that, but ideally we want to be able to find our stuff and maybe not have a sculpture of a dog in there in amongst our study materials that we can't find. Now, some people self-sabotage presents it in this way where we lose things or misplace things, but other people's manifests in negative self-talk. So telling ourselves that we're not going to succeed or that we don't deserve it or that we're going to just fail anyway. So those are some things we can consider at the start of the term, and we can identify those self-sabotage triggers for ourselves so that when they come, we can see them coming. So in the study guide on pages 64 to 65, there's a little bit of information about self-sabotage and how you might be able to get ahead of your own self-sabotage, however that looks for you. And some people like to overcome that with having a bit of a vision board or a wall where they put things. So this is Ange. She was a prep skills student in 2018. And her self-sabotage was being unorganized. So she thought right at the very beginning, I'm going to make a board. I'm going to put all the things I need on it where I can see them and find them again. So, you know, even if my desk and my space gets a bit messy, I'll have this big board up the top. So she popped, you can see it's probably a little bit small, but she put up the name of her support lecturers. So she knew exactly who she needed to contact. She put she was doing maths that term. So you can see she's got her prime numbers there. She's got her goals, her contract. So whatever works for you, but this is, yeah, just one suggestion of a way to keep everything in one place and keep it all visual where you can see it. Another nice activity we have as part of Prep Skills is our contract. So this is activity 1-11 this week, and it's all about thinking about what you want to gain from steps and what you might want to promise yourself. So feel free to download this, fill it out. You might like to give it to your lecturer. So if you're in my on-campus class, we will be doing this activity. I like to have copies of everyone's contract and I can give them back to you at the end of the term. And it's a nice little reminder of how far you've come. If you're an online student, once you hear from your support lecturer, they'll send you an email, like I said, to introduce themselves. You can reply and send them this back. They'd love it. They'll hang on to it, keep it safe, and then they can give it back to you at the end of the term. Okay. So a couple of things this week that are great to get yourself across. We have a test your knowledge quiz. So once you've completed all of the work for module 1, so you've hopefully gone through, read the study guide, done the activities, you can have a go at this quiz. So it's just for fun, if you can call a quiz fun. It's not for marks. You're not, graded on it. It's not an assessment task, but it is a really good way to get used to doing quizzes. If you remember back to earlier in the lecture, we have 2 quizzes as assessments this term for Prep Skills. So good to get across, get used to what a quiz looks like. This one looks exactly the same. You can have as many goes as you want. You can, search the internet and, look in your study guide, whatever. It's, not for marks. So just have a bit of a go, get used to it, and it'll help you to make sure you've, taken on a lot of that knowledge from this module. And, if you've forgotten something, that's okay. You can go back and find it. That's good. That's what learning is all about. Okay. So I'll just check before I ask you this question. Are there any questions, anything to note in the chat, Tricks, before I make the chat go mad again?
No, there's great interaction happening on there, but I don't think we've missed anything. So yeah, we're right to keep going.
Beautiful. All right. I have a question for you all. You can pop this into the chat. I want to know, what is one of the first strategies you'd like to put in place or are going to put in place in order to start your learning journey in a positive way? What's something you're going to do?
Here we go. I like this. We've got allocating time to study each week, which is great. Actually setting that time, cleaning my work area. Yes.
Yep.
Designate a study space, coming to uni daily.
Yeah.
That positive self-talk and a clear study plan. We've got the vision board. Good, Hayley. I'd love to. And you know what? If you do a vision board, can you send us some photos of it? We really love seeing what people come up with. What have we got? Yeah, study boards. Some people have got like big study boards that they're writing on. A clean workspace. Yeah,
I love that. I have a whiteboard in my room that I write all the things
to
that
write
need to be on. Yeah.
So managing, like we're hearing, managing the day, organized, timetable. So that sort of wording's being used constantly through here. Yeah, and Heather, that's toughy. Heather says she's moving in 3 weeks, so everyth's boxed up, which means that it does make you sort of feel like you're not prepared just yet. But once you get set up, you'll have a dedicated study area. I had to think about that word for a second.
Neither Trix or I can talk today. Sorry.
Better than desiccated.
I tried to pull myself up. Calendar. She says there's so many time management strategies, which we will talk to next week, but it's great that you're already thinking that way because it is so important. And Alice says starting every week, planning out the week around study and commitments. And that, again, is also really, really, really vital. And Cohen, sleep. I love it. Appropriate sleep schedule. I think we do talk to that later in the term as how valuable, sleep and good eating and all that is.
Yeah, and sometimes that's the first thing that goes, unfortunately. We think that's the easy thing to cut is sleep, but we often don't perform at our best if we're not getting enough sleep. So maybe, not always the best thing to cut out when you get busy.
Yep. Beck's got the Pomodoro method. So where you study for 25 minutes and then go and have a little bit of time off and then get back into it again.
I feel like the Pomodoro method's making such a comeback. I hadn't heard about it for years, and then a few students have mentioned it to me in the last couple of terms. So it's really making a comeback.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. And Lakeisha says, I've been letting my kids know in advance that I'm studying now.
That's good.
Get them used to the routine.
Yeah. I know I had a student in the past make a mummy's busy sign she used to put on her door when she was studying, and she had on the fridge a calendar of what day she studied and then a sign she put on her.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. And Ali says work on improving, creating a positive mindset. So you might talk to that later, I think, do you? The be positive.
I'm just about to. On the note, thank you for that segue. On the note of positive and being positive, we actually have the Be Positive program built into our Prep Skills Moodle site. So you'll find these little tiles. So you'll have all your weekly tiles, 1 to 12. And then at the end, there's actually another Be Positive tile there that you can click. So this is an optional activity, but if it's something you're interested in, have a look. It's a lovely little initiative that Trix and a team have actually created and has kindly popped into Prep Skills. So there's little videos there. There's some little information about each. There's surveys so you can give your feedback. So they're really lovely and they're very sweetly animated. I quite like the bee animations and things along the way. So have a look. Trix, did you want to say anything about the Be Positive program?
Oh no, I love our little animations, and I know some of you might think, God, animations, that's for kids, but the concepts that we're covering here are positive psychology concepts. They're things that will actually help you to reframe the way that you're thinking about your study and about yourself and about life in general. So they're really solid concepts, but we do it in this way because we want to make it engaging. As simple as that. Instead of having someone like talk to you in a lecture like this, sorry, these animations just bring it to you in a very, very different way that helps you to really engage and understand the concepts and then apply it to yourselves. So we actually have this now in some of the undergraduate subjects.
You're okay,
yeah, I'm just dying. Don't worry about me. But anyway, it would be great just to have a look at it and give it a go.
Yeah. So have a look if you'd like, and we'll let poor Trixie cover there. Somebody also said, I think it was, I'd missed it, it's gone. But someone else gave me a segue in the chat. Well done. That another optional activity we have is our yoga and meditation videos. So a past lecturer at CQU, Anita, does these lovely videos for us. She was an education lecturer, but also a yoga teacher. So lots of skills there. Anita, so she's done up lovely videos that go along with each of the weeks. So if that's something you're interested in, again, optional activity, but if you're interested in a bit of yoga, have a go. It goes along with each of our weekly work. She's sort of done them specifically for each week. If you scroll down so if you just go to the normal week 1 tile, scroll down to the bottom, there at the bottom in the optional activities. Okay, so there are a couple of things you can choose to do. Something you need to do though is definitely get across Learning Portfolio A. So I told you I'd come back to this. So have a look. If you go in, you go to assessment up the top, you can click Learning Portfolio A. Alternatively, there's the assessment tile, you can click that one. There's a bit of a video to introduce you to Learning Portfolio A. It's me again, sorry. So we've got a lot of me this week. So have a look, watch that video, and then make sure you download the task description and the template. I know it's week 1 and you're thinking, Bree, why are you already hassling me about assessment? But the quicker you get in, the sooner you get on top of this, the better. Your template for Learning Portfolio A looks like this. So it's not scary, I promise. It's straightforward. You literally just type your answer into the boxes below, and each module, so you can see here on my screen, I've got module 1. Each module has dedicated questions. So you can see question A and question B here. Now, the best way to complete Learning Portfolio A and Learning Portfolio B would be to do it week by week. So work through module 1, complete this module this week, and then you can do your answers here. You're done. You've done module 1. Beautiful. And then in week 2, do the same thing. Complete the module, answer the questions in Learning Portfolio A. And by the end of week 3, you'll have it done. Then you can spend a little bit of week 4 just, touching things up, checking your spelling, grammar, making sure everything's clear, you've answered everything, and you submit. So simple. So that would honestly be my advice. Don't let these assignments become, these big, scary things that you need to try and complete all at once. If you do it week by week, it'll be fresh in your mind. So that would be my very best advice. So hop on, that's your homework. Hop on to Moodle, go to that learning assessments tile, Learning Portfolio A, task description, template. Okay. Any questions in the chat, Tricks, about Learning Portfolio A? Or are we still talking about?
No, no, but Angus just says I'm lost. So
okay. That's all right, Angus. I am going to show you in Moodle where all this is in a sec.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Okay, so my advice is take the plunge. You're here. You've made it this far, so you might as well contribute to classes. Pop your thoughts in the chat like you have been. Join a study group. I think I saw someone had to go but was interested in joining a study group, was going to put up a post. So if that's what you're interested in joining, hop on there, join a group, participate in online forums. We find that the students that get the most out of prep skills are the ones that get involved. And honestly, I know students who have made friendships that have lasted them all the way through their degrees. So get involved, meet some people, take the plunge. I have a couple of suggested activities as well for after the lecture. So of course, work through the module 1 content. That seems like an obvious one. Watch all those videos. There's an article we haven't touched on, but you'll be able to have a bit of a read. It's by an academic named Brick, who gives a bit of an introduction to being an independent learner. So that's a really good one. Get used to reading some more academic literature. Send your learning contract to your support lecturer. They will be in contact with you this week. So maybe hit reply and flick through your contract. Come along, obviously, if you're an on-campus student, to your internal tutorial, or if you're online, we have our Wednesday workshop at 5. And complete the Test Your Knowledge quiz. So once you've done all of these things, you're all over module 1, you can smash that Test Your Knowledge quiz. It'll be great, be perfect. Make sure you've got it all. Anything you've missed, you can go back and figure it out. So I just have this little testimonial to share as well from an online student from 2020 who said that they thoroughly enjoyed prep skills and think that it was presented perfectly. Thank you, student. We didn't pay them, I promise. And that all the questions had prior to starting had been answered and they felt more confident to navigate uni. So hopefully you'll feel that way too. That's the aim of the game, especially this week. We want to get you in there and get you on all the platforms, navigating everything. So a very commercial slogan nowadays, but just do it, everyone. Hop on, find your way around, get involved. All right. Thank you so much. We might, actually, I might keep the recording going, Trix, because I might just show Moodle. Just a bit of a show and tell. Oh, give me a second, everybody. And then we'll answer some questions. Okay. Hopefully you can all see that, the prep skills for uni, term 2, 2024. Is that the one that I'm sharing, Trix? Yep, beautiful, all good. Just checking. Okay, so this is what our Moodle page looks like, everyone. So this is prep skills. You can always tell because there's all these lovely smiling faces here from past terms. These are some of our past students. And you actually get to hear from these students throughout the modules. We have little quotes from them. So, as I said, when you get here, I'd say most of you are all over this because you've made it to your virtual classes. So well done. Make sure you work your way through the unit introduction. It looks like this. We've got our first quote from the lovely Michelle. Trixie's done us a lovely get started video, so you can have a look at that one. We also have all the study materials. So if anyone was wondering where you get a copy of the study guide, it's just there. Steps guide for students, unit profile. So have a bit of explore of those. We also have a bit of a plug for the forums and worth a look. Information about your learning community. So that's got some links to the forums again, if you'd like to hop on there, and also some information, as I've mentioned, about your support people. So your support lecturer and where to find them. It's just up here in unit contacts. Now, I think assessment, was this one the one you were a little bit lost on, Angus? I'm not sure, but I'll show up on the assessment tile. It looks like this. Up the top, it's got an overview. So it tells you all about all 4 assessments. And you can click on each one. So let's start with Learning Portfolio A, the obvious choice. And it looks like this. So it gives you a bit of info there, tells you it's worth 30%, covers modules 1, 2, and 3. This here's the video I'm talking about. So if you click that, it comes up with a video. And these here are the task description and the template. So if you click on those, I'll just click on the template. Depending on your browser, it might pop up somewhere different, but my browser, it pops up there. And you click on it and it'll just open as a Word document. Maybe once it thinks about it. Look like this. You might have to, again, depending on your computer, hit enable editing. And it's right here. And like I said, it's pretty easy. Just type straight into the box. Okay. Back to the dashboard. Oops, too far. So as well, I mentioned I'd show you where to find the lecture recordings. So if you want to watch this back in future because you can't make it, we'll always put the lecture recordings in each week. So week 1, you can click here. And we've got Natasha up the top. And if we scroll down, we've got a task sheet that you can, this is really handy, so tick and flick to make sure you've covered everything. Overview and a copy of the module 1 from the study guide. And right here under video resources, you can see below is the week 1 lecture recording from term 1. So we've got one up there just in case you're really keen. But once this one has been recorded and uploaded, you'll be able to access it there. We'll get rid of term 1 and you can click this one and we'll be able to access that. Okay. So while I'm here, did we have any other questions in the chat, Tricks, about Moodle or? Anything I can show everyone while I'm here?
No, I'm not sure. I think there's been, Lou was asking about the discussion forums and you've got that page open right there. So
Oh,
the
yep.
can see.
Just
So
down the side here.
Hmm.
So you can introduce yourself. This one's your first week and then study groups.
No, but are there any questions? Maybe just
Yeah.
feel free to ask now while we have a chance.
Yes, pop them in the chat or open up your mic.
We might stop the recording, I think.
Yeah, thanks, Trix. Thanks, everyone.